Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Candace, the creator of Diamond Dance Art, and we are sitting with our Some Enchanted Evenings canvas. Here we go. And we're just going to be doing a sort of whip and chat. I have some music playing in the background. It's Sunday morning, it's April the 13th, and I am doing some housework. So this is how I pass my time so I can get all of the not so fun activities completed. But here we are. I'm in my 5th row and I'm working on sections 30 and 31 here. The sections that I had completed were a little bit smaller, so I'll see if I can show you. If you're looking at this section right here, you see that, let me do it like this, hold on. So you see how big this cellophane or this plastic is? That's one section. So I found that the way that I diamond paint, I pick a color and I'll go across my whole section, filling in that color, and then I'll move to the next. I'm getting a little bit better at pouring up more drills in separate containers and working that way. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna do my blue section, which is this part of the rooftop, in this area here, which is also part of the canvas in the sky. So we have a lot of blues going on. So I'm gonna pour those up into my trays here, and then we're gonna get started. This is my Diamond Art Club swirl pen that I got this for free using the Diamond Art Club rewards program, and I have a 5-placer and a 2-placer attached to this. Now my 5-placer gives me trouble. It really is functioning as a 4-placer at the moment, which I mean, it's okay, but when I want 5, I tend to have trouble picking up 5. I don't know if that's the design of the attachment or if I just need to amp up my skills. But you guys, if you have trouble with this as well, just let me know inside of the comments. So I just have some pink wax that have come with the various kits that I've purchased, and I'm just gonna get a fresh start on my pen. It's a little cold in my place, so the wax is a little hard, but that's okay. I washi taped my holding container. Let me show you real quick. This was like a side project that I did using the that I showed you guys in one of my previous videos. Whoops. But this is how it came out. I use this for my storage. In here I have one of my twist and pick pens, and actually there's the lid to it. So I'm just gonna stick that on there. And I have my attachments here. The plastic ones are for the, let me see if I can get these out. That worked out good. Alright, so I don't have a lot of blocking in the castle right now, but what comes with the twist and pick pens is a 7-placer, a 4-placer, and then the 1-placer. And then these are just ones that you shove into the end of the pen, and they're, you know, you can remove them and replace them. So even with this being the standard pen that comes with the kit, it's still unbelievably great to work with. So no shade on the original pen that comes with the kit. I have a this is a 12-placer, and then I have my 1-placer here. But I just keep my extra attachments in this little container here. Not much blocking going on, so I don't get to use my 12 placer much in this project, which it's okay. I have another project coming up after this one that's going to allow me to use the life out of that 12 placer. Okay, I got sidetracked. That's all right though. These are the original trays that came with the kits that I've ordered, and then this is one that I purchased off of Temu. I like this one because it has that shelf at the bottom, but no shade to the other two trays. So I have a lot of this project done. A lot of it is in my lap at the moment. I did try to use these clips. They're like chip clips to pin them, to pin the finished portion of the portrait up. But I don't want this rolled thing down at the bottom of where I'm working, so I just rather have it sitting in my lap. And I've been keeping a good watch over whether or not drills are coming off of the canvas while I'm working on it and while this is resting in my lap, and I have not seen that that is the case. So we are doing really, really well for our space that we have to operate in. I don't have much space here in my little apartment, but I'm making it work. So I got my little corner, the corner of my world here in my little craft area, my craft corner, and we're making it work. So credit to Diamond Art Club for having such an amazing product. Their canvas is very sticky to the point that I can have this rolled up, I can unroll it, I can put it in my lab, I can have it bent, and the drills are not coming off. So as long as you're putting your drills down securely onto the canvas, no issues. So I don't know what it sounds like in the background. I have my washer going, and that thing is so loud to be a compact, but it gets the job done. So you guys, grab a snack, grab some coffee if you're just joining in. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I truly enjoy spending time with you guys and sharing my fashion. No, not at all. Not sharing my fashions, sharing my passion of the art form in general, of just art, period. I love creative things. I like things that I can mess with and have a finished product, something to look at, something to be proud of. So this is why I'm here, no other purpose. So I will show you that I have a mini project going before we get started. This is also from Diamond Art Clubs. This is the mini easels. This one says good vibes only, and I'm working on this. It's round drills, and it's so cute, you guys. It comes with, I'm sorry, I'm drinking coffee and I have hiccups, so there you go. It comes with this easel, and you just place the little canvas on the easel and then you can display it. I think it's so adorable. It's a great breakup to the larger painting that I'm doing. What did I lost the cover that goes on top of this. That's funny. That's okay. I'll just use one of these. Oh, here it is. I found it. Bam, there we go. So that's one of my side projects that I work on when I am wanting to diamond paint and too tired to actually sit at my desk. So that's a thing. All right, so what I grabbed is my Y color. I'm gonna grab this R color because I do see that that is throughout this roof. And then I'm going to grab, let's see, what do we got next? Oh, pound sign. You guys know it as a hashtag. I don't know why I just said pound sign. There goes my hashtag. And then let's spread these guys out. So when I do these whipping chats, I don't know what I talk about from time to time. I have got to get better at keeping organized with that type of information. Clearly, I'm going to be doing these a little bit more often than not. But I did actually post today, this morning, a video about storage containers. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out and you're wanting to get some ideas, or you're just about to get started diamond painting and you're getting all of your ducks in a row, check out that short video. It explains how to organize your diamonds if you do not want to use the materials that the kit comes with. I had a feeling that what the kit came with, I wasn't going to work well with. I don't like working with bags and things that are not structured. So I opted to immediately get a box storage method. I didn't go crazy with it. I just went to Hobby Lobby and I got the cheapest thing that I could find. And given the nature of diamond painting when I first started, I was not aware of the amount of individual colors that can come in a kit until I started purchasing the Diamond Art Club paintings. And then I had to go back to Hobby Lobby, grab a few more storage boxes, and I'll show you the storage box here. These are the storage boxes that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I think I got a couple from my mom from Dollar Tree as well. They work absolutely fine. You just have to have the right amount of quantity storage for the amount of colors that you're working with. So that was an affordable option for me. And then I got like a carrying case type style. I'll show, I'm not going to show that to you right now because I have my other boxes on top of it. But when I grab my other colors, we most certainly will see that. When I go for my other colors for this painting. So I woke up like throughout the evening and throughout the morning and just piddled around the apartment. I could not, normally what I do, I take a nap and then I'll wake up and then I'll start cleaning. I just could not get motivated. I worked yesterday. It's not a full day when I work on Saturdays. However, it does throw me off of my routine for the weekend because I'm losing 4 to 5 hours not in my house. Like that time that I am not in my apartment and I'm not applying my efforts to doing housework, start in the morning. If I don't start that in the morning, it's not a good chance that I'm going to get to it later on throughout the day. I don't even know how to explain how I do this. It's just a lot of work. I have 2 teenagers. Actually, I'll have a second teenager in June, but I have a teenager and a preteen. And if you know anything about child rearing and that transition from having everything done for you, you know, like the big cleaning, I would say, that transition from teaching how to manage a big clean is definitely a learning curve for us. I am not going to say that I enabled my children from housework. I believe that it's just overwhelming to a teenager, the amount of clutter and things that they produce and how fast they produce it. And they're just having a hard time with time management and keeping on top of it. So this is what I'm telling myself, you guys. This is what I'm telling myself because to me it's not that hard, but I do remember being a teenager, and I do remember my room being cluttered and my mom always like being on top of me to clean my room up. And really the only time that I did get into cleaning my room was when I got tired of like not being able to find my stuffs. So I told you guys before in another video that I'm a big crafter. My parents supported me with all of my little art adventures, and so I did have like pieces of things and like kits of things, and it could get a little out of control sometimes. So I'm showing some mercy when it comes to that, and just trying to, you know, get everybody on a schedule, get everybody used to like, if you see something, do something type of style. But with that comes challenges as well, because we have one kid that'll see something and do something, and then after a while that starts to get a little annoying because you realize that your sibling is not on the same page. Like, you see it but you don't do anything. Why am I always the only one seeing stuff and doing stuff? So I'm dealing with that, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna deal with it for a while. I got the living quarters that we live in is a stepping stone for us, so we are minimally living, which is not a bad thing. I've always kind of admired the minimalist lifestyle and wondered how it was possible to do. And in a pinch, I adopted a lot of the, I guess, ideology of living a minimalist lifestyle. I haven't done much research on it, so please don't come here looking for how to live as a minimalist, but I can tell you that doing things like buying things of excess, it's not what happens here. Let me give you a good example. Hold on. So there's 5 working days in a week, and you need 5 business casual, or at least 4 business casual outfits so that you can be compliant with work. This is the example, y'all. Okay. Me being a minimalist, and what all of that entails, I do not see the point in having more than, let's say, 6 or 7 actual business casual outfits per week, and then, you know, 2 outfits that I can wear on Fridays as like our dress down day. I don't have the space, number one, to store an immense amount of clothing. So for me to go out every month and buy clothes, like, oh, I like this outfit, oh, I like these shoes, and just to accumulate things like that is not practical for us in our lifestyle at the moment. But it also, I just never been that type of person. And I try not to do it, but let's be honest, I do compare myself and how I see things and how I view things to other people's perception, not other people's opinion. There is a difference. So I compare myself to the thinking of an individual that feels as though they have to have a very large selection of clothing. So instead, where I feel as though I only need about 5 outfits to choose from, and then I can rotate them because I really don't care that much as long as I am presentable and I look well when I go to work. I don't see the reason in having, you know, a closet full of clothes. However, there are people who cannot wear the same thing twice. No judgment zone here. I'm working off of what I have as far as space. And I'm also working with my goals of being a good saver. And then my goals of being a good saver is going to turn into my goals of other things. So It's a process that kind of enacted itself without my knowledge, but I'm glad that it did because I knew of it from listening to other people who have the same lifestyle. And these are things that I just happened upon. Like, you're scrolling on YouTube, or you're scrolling on TikTok, whatever your viewing pleasure is, and I started to see individuals living in very small spaces, like tiny homes, condos. I can think of Tokyo when I talk about stuff like this, because in Japan they maximize space so much that a person can basically, quote unquote, live in a shoebox and still be comfortable. And so I've always admired things like that, because to me, a person's comfort is determined by their ability to accept the level of comfort that they're in. Not that they have to accept bad conditions, but work with what they have. So I applied this unknowingly to my life when I started getting things back on track. Back in 2023 and 24. And I realized, which it wasn't a late realization. I still kind of thought this way, but to the maximum, I realized that I didn't have to accumulate so many things in order to get what I needed. So in 23, I needed an apartment, I needed a car, I needed a job. And I did that. I found a job, a few of them actually, in 23, and I found my apartment, and then I have my car. So all the other in-between things, of course, I have clothes, and those were donated to me when I was first getting started. And I mean, you do what you have to do. I'm not ashamed of it. I started my life completely over, and I had nothing. And I landed a position working in finance. And so I had to be business casual. And so through the blessings of God and whoever, you pray to or believe in, I was able to get those resources and be able to be presentable when I appeared for my new position at my new job. So I was mentioning earlier that this 5-placer was not fiving, and it's picking up 5 drills at a time like a pro. So we're going to say it was operator error and not the drill tip. So that's a little bit about why I kind of gravitated to the minimalist lifestyle. I want to teach my children that in excess, you do not have to have a lot of material things, but you do want to have a lot of experiences. And so as I'm growing and getting myself reestablished and starting to think about the extracurricular activities of life, I want them to understand that there's so much to see, and I want to start to take them on those adventures. And so in order to do that, being a single mom, I have to plan accordingly, and I have to make sure that I have my ducks in a row financially. And so the minimalist lifestyle, at least when it comes to me and the things that I want, I try not to want too much. And I only, really splurge on the things that is bringing me positivity or is serving a purpose to me in my mental health. I'm not going to box up those drills that I just did. Those were the R's, because I'm going to find little R's that I didn't see like that. And I just want to have it poured up so I can quickly grab them. I did box up the Y. I shouldn't have, but I think I got all of my Y's taken care of. No, I didn't. I see a bunch of Y's right here. I took my glasses off and then I seen a bunch of Y's. So you guys, living a minimalist lifestyle is not a hard adjustment when you are starting from absolutely nothing. Just gonna put that out there. It's not easy. if you have to downsize what you have going on. So for example, if you are a single person, and I say that because it's so much easier to navigate in a singular fashion. But if you're a single person, you're like, hey man, I want to see what's going on with this minimalist lifestyle. I want to save some money. I want to be less impactful to the environment. What can I do? I'm not an expert, y'all, but take an inventory of your actual day-to-day needs, and then see if you can just work with that. See if you can just work with that. Maybe you want to get into doing, minimalist things, as far as, your purchasing or your budget. You want to adopt this idea because you want to save money. Well, using the example that I use with the clothes, I mean, if you have enough clothes to last you and you have them for the season and for appropriate functions that you have to attend, why buy anything else? So put yourself on a, what do you call it? Put yourself on a promise, I guess you can say, because you're making this change for yourself. Make a promise to yourself that you're not going to buy anything new until A, you absolutely need it and find that you don't have it in your closet until a certain time frame. So if you're trying to save money for 3 months and you know that you spend all your money on clothes, start off with like, I'll do 3 months of not buying clothes. I'll only use what I have access to, and if I do not own it, then I'll find something else. That's just an example. It's just a way to gain back control over your life. This is definitely something that I'm going to continue to do, because, man, just changes just had to be made, y'all. I didn't start out I didn't have a bad start, but I did have an uneducated start to my adulthood, and so I just have to make a lot of corrections and edits to some of the decisions that I made, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it because I know that the things that, for the most part, the things that I'm fixing and I'm editing, these are decisions and choices that I made with the information that I had. So forgiveness is there for myself, most definitely. I kind of stopped beating myself up about, the paths that I took, and the reasons that I took those paths. I spent about a year, all of 2024, just putting the pieces back together, making life make sense for me, and for me to make it make sense to me and not have to focus on whether or not I'm accommodating someone else or offending someone with the decisions that I'm making. I just really needed that time to think. I got a lot of good information from some cousins, and I don't forget it, and I'm still applying it. But what I had to realize too, a part of my growing process and like becoming more of an adult, because let's be real about it, we go through these decades, we learn a little bit, and then we suffer, and then we realize, how stupid we were and how small that thing was relative to the big picture. But I dedicated my 20s to someone that didn't deserve it, and I got 2 beautiful children from it. And so now I have the opportunity to pick up the pieces in my mid 30s to late 30s, just to cultivate a life that I know that I deserve for my hard work. Not because someone else gave it to me or provided it to me, But because I know that I put the blood, sweat, tears, everything into building it. Quick break. So yeah, I definitely overthink purchases if you were asking that question. There are things that I find easier to purchase than others. Like if I'm purchasing something for my kids, it's a no-brainer. But if I'm purchasing it for myself, I do obsess over it for quite some time before I actually hit the purchase button or swipe my card. It's something that I've struggled with ever since I had kids, because I always had the fear of being viewed or being considered selfish. So with that fear, I adopted these habits that were not really great habits. They weren't great habits for myself because I felt that I had to always perform and deliver, even when it was not deserved. So those are some things that I'm working through with my own personality and the misunderstandings that I had about who I am to the world. I do a lot of personal thinking and self-development. And I do think about how my actions affect others, how I am viewed with my actions. The things that I say, I try to make sure that I'm, sensitive to the things that I say. I don't ever want to offend anybody. Like, this type of mentality to constantly walk around in is very difficult. It causes a lot of stress and anxiety because you're so afraid of offending someone, or you're so afraid of being viewed as intolerant, that you kind of just shut yourself off from like the goofy pleasantries that life can offer, that might not be as tasteful. And like, to me, I kind of view myself as being a bit of a square. No pun intended, since we're diamond painting with squares. I kind of consider myself to be a nerd. I consider myself to be a square. I just don't. It's not that I don't find enjoyment in the normal hustle and bustle of getting out, having experiences with like just regular, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like my type of entertainment is such a broad natural scale. Like when I think about doing things and events, I want to go to places. Like I want to go to the mountains. I want to see orchards. I want to see caves. I want to see oceans, rivers. I want to see monuments. I just have a different view of what going out and being out is. And I don't fall into a category of my peers. And I'm so isolated in that, I think. And it's okay because, I'm 38 years old and I just like what I like. But I'm conscious of this because I do have teenagers and they are coming into their own interests. And if they happen to be, the people who enjoy the different type of entertainment than I enjoy, I don't want to judge them for it or stifle them for it or feel like they're doing something bad because they're not following in my footsteps of solidarity and silence, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you can hear it, but I do have my classical music playing in the background. This to me is so relaxing. I'm not thinking about anything other than what I'm talking to y'all about. Usually my thoughts are racing in my head and I have so much going on when I'm just sitting here. I do try to think about other things when I'm diamond painting other than like my method of parenting. Like, how, in the comments, if you have kids, I know our following for the channel is not that giant, you guys, but if you have kids, can you put in the comments how much time you actually sit by yourself wondering if you're doing this right? Please let me know. Give me a like, give me a comment, and just tell me I'm not the only one dealing with this. I often find myself like, okay, I'm this age. Who said that I was ready to do the decisioning and the whatevers for this age range? My mom was this age when I was younger. That sounds stupid, right? But think about it. Think of how old you are now. And then think about your parent at your age, and then how old you were. You are still very much so their child, their whatever year old. And we don't have all the answers, and our parents probably have the answers to our most biggest pains. I'm not gonna cuss, but the biggest pains in the butt. They probably have the answer for it. Someone has an answer for something that we're going through because they've experienced it already. And we just have to open ourselves up to listen to the experience and just take the advice. That's what it all boils down to. So I sat down in 23 and 24. I put into action. I listened to my parents, and I didn't, I just put myself to the side. I had no opinion. I had no direction. I didn't want to make decisions. They would ask me, do you want to, I don't know, do you want to go to this store? And I'd be like, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to make a decision. And trust me, this, I'm talking about this very nonchalantly, because I'm okay now. Like, I talk about it because it happened, and it's like not a big deal anymore. But it was a big deal, you guys. It was a very big deal because I got to a point where I felt as though my decision-making skills were obsolete. They didn't matter, and I just stopped making decisions. I really needed that time, you guys, and I'm so blessed that I had a supportive family and friends that stepped in to help me put my life back together. And so I do. I don't ask for too much. I don't pray for too much, because I'm just so grateful for every little tiny individual little thing. And I'm just gonna continue probably to be like this. Like, when you've experienced such a low point, and then you're able to bring yourself back up to, content creating and spending time with hobbies and thinking about how you want to decorate your space. Those are the living moments, you guys. Those are the living moments. The problem solving and the issue, troubleshooting and rebudgeting and reacclimating, all of those things are the constructions of life. And we just don't live 100% in the construction of life. I really was not in a good headspace maybe 2 weeks ago. I was so sad, you guys. I get sad, and I was so sad because a goal that I set for myself, which it was a monumental ass goal. It was huge. It was huge, you guys. The goal that I set for myself, I realized through reanalyzing data that I was not going to be able to accomplish it in the time frame that I was projecting. And I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated because it wasn't something that was just for me. This is a goal that I am trying to knock out of the park for my kids. And when I sat down with the numbers in the plan that I developed, and I was double checking my work, double checking some of the factors that had changed that was causing me to relook at everything, I wasn't even close to projection. And now this is something that I am starting from the ground up. It's a personal goal of mine, so no worries, about work being affected by not being successful in this projection. But I took it kind of hard. And what I had to realize was perception of time and how long it takes to reach certain goals. So, for example, like I'll use losing weight as an example, because when we get motivated, that motivation, it's delicate. You could lose it the very next day if you see a pie that you want really bad. But with the right tools, with the right tools, the right support, with the right education and remodification of behavior, you can be successful at losing weight. And I was successful at doing that very thing. So I can do hard stuffs. And so I did get down about not being able to reach my goal. And you guys, I'm not going to tell you what that is yet, because it's in such a delicate stage. But I had to get an understanding of time frames and actually giving myself the allotted time that it takes to build. So this is why I do sit with diamond painting the way that I do. And it's because it is the exact metaphor for building and for life and accomplishing goals. You have a giant picture, and the picture is etched out for you perfectly. And the only mistake that can happen is the mistake of user error. So mistake of user error, if I do something wrong, I'm the only one that's being held accountable to that. What did I do? Are these the same colors? They are, I think. I'm the only one being held accountable to that. So, hold on, you guys. I did something weird. I got distracted. Of course, because I'm talking. Alright. These are all the same color. These are my R's. And I finished my R's. Okay, here we go. So anyway, the projection, so where I thought I could accomplish this goal in about 2 years, it's actually going to be more about maybe 3 to 5 years. That is a hard pill to swallow. That is a hard pill to swallow, because I will tell you that when I tell my children that I'm going to do something, I execute and I do it. I pride myself on my word. It's all that I have when I had nothing else. And they don't understand that concept of time and how long it takes to get things in order for certain things. And I respect that, because nor did I. For some things, yes, not for all things, because we don't have experience with all things. But there's one thing that I have experience. I'm starting to get experience with. Yeah, definitely had to pivot. And it's okay. Like, I know that it's a long process, a long-term goal. So I had to give myself, oh, this is why. Okay. I had to get myself, I had to be gentle with myself and say it's okay. It's just going to take a little bit longer to accomplish. You're doing all the right things. You're going in the right direction. You just have to let things accumulate, and you have to let things work naturally. And when you are the person giving yourself the pep talk, like how, unless you prove it to yourself time and time again, which I have, that I'm capable of accomplishing hard long-term goals, you look at yourself kind of funny, like, please. And if you don't have experience of accomplishing your goals and you tend to let yourself down, then that's a conversation that's going to be difficult, because are you going to let yourself down again? And then are you realistic about letting yourself down when it happens? Holding yourself accountable is not easy, you guys. But if you want something and you want to accomplish goals and you want to be different and you want something you've never had before, you have to do the things you've never done before and get yourself out of your comfort zone, because that comfort zone could be like a cesspool. Your comfort zone could be a cesspool. So what I'm doing right now is I'm filling in my ease. And you guys, I'll give you a little bit of a change here. If you're still with me and watching the video, put in the comments still here, because I did go off on a tangent a little bit. What I'm doing is my ease. And in the area that I'm in, you see me changing my colors a little bit often. This is what we call confetti. You know what confetti is? It's multiple colors in a group. And when you have multiple colors in a group, you have to switch your colors out, or switch your colors out in a tray, or have them spread out the way that I did, so that you can just grab the color and keep moving. If not, you're going to be switching your colors out quite often, and that does slow you down a little bit. Confetti is no joke, you guys. Take your time and don't rush. Like, this is not a race. It's a marathon, depending on the size of the project, but don't overwhelm yourself with like trying to go fast or speed. That's not what this is about. Your speed will come as you diamond paint, because you get muscle memory. You also learn where your the order of your drills and your symbols, and then you'll find a pattern. Excuse me. We're about 48 minutes into the video, and I just did a quick stretch. Quick reminder, you guys, get up often and stretch. Watch your posture, because this can cause back problems. Back problems, neck problems. Sometimes I curl myself up on the wall and just lean on the wall and do this. So the wall is holding me up. But watch your arms, your neck, your eyes. Make sure you're resting your eyes. I have a lot of light. I have the light from my camera, and I have a light pad, and I have my overhead light in my room on. So I'm guessing that can be a stress on the eyes as well. I'm not an eye doctor, so I don't know. But I do know sometimes my eyes get tired. So your eyes are a muscle, and they can tire out. I do know that much. So I'm just going along and filling in my E's, and this is a confetti section. This whole thing I think is confetti. I haven't gotten to much blocking here. Oh yeah, let's move that up. All right, so where confetti is multicolor, we have blocking, which is all one solid color, and those tend to move a lot faster, especially if you are capable of multi-placing and you have your multi-placer 12 drill placer, or even a 7, 8, 10. There's different quantities. I do have a project that I'm going to be working on for my son after I finish this one, and we are projected to finish this one about May 11th. Oh, you guys, this right now I'm in a waiting period of just everything. Like I've physically have done everything that I can do for the betterment of my situation, and my children and I are stable, and that was the main goal. That was the main goal, you guys, is stability. And through my art, through my channel, I'm only solidifying this to myself, because sometimes, even though you are a person that can deliver and you've proven that time and time again, sometimes people do not show you as much grace as you deserve if you have a moment where you're not yourself or where you had to step away. People will hold it against you so unforgivingly that even where you think you still had like connection or friendship, sometimes the grudge is just there because you just rubbed the person the wrong way, and it may not have anything to do with you, or it may have everything to do with you. A part of the growing process, I'll be honest, oh my goodness, I'm missing my, oh, it's right here. Okay, so I found my wax. So sometimes with these AB drills, the wax, if it warms up a lot, it'll come out of the pen and be left on the drills. So that's what happened. My wax did not disconnect from my drill and I lost it. I forgot what I was saying. Sorry, you guys. There's no going back. Unless I think of what I was talking about. Oh yeah, people will be affected by you having to make changes in your life, and I've learned not to take those things personally, and I've learned to communicate that if my treatment of you is different, I gave a reason why, and that's the best that I can do. I cannot walk around with the world on my shoulders trying to figure out, trying to be the most perfect person that I don't make mistakes. I did that for so long, and that was part of my problem, until why I had to take a break from life, period. Like, not gonna call it anything else other than a much needed vacation. A vacation from the idiocy of people and their decisioning making skills. Like, it was a lot. But before I blame anyone else for anything, you better believe that I am going to self-check, and I'm gonna put that responsibility on myself, because I've learned that people for the most part, at least the unsavourable ones in my life, never did that. Never had a consideration for whether or not a decision was going to be detrimental or helpful to me or to my children. So, I mean, you go with the flow of things, and it's fine. This is life. This is navigating people. But when you learn that you're not one of the chosen in someone's life, you have to keep it moving and not take it personally. And I had to make decisions that certain people were not going to be chosen in my life. And I think it was even harder for me than it was for the person that I had to cut off. Like, and that right there is like, you know, the cake right there. That's all of it is, oh, I thought I was sparing, you know, hurting you by trying to make the friendship work or make the relationship work. And you didn't want it yourself. But because you didn't want to deal with the separation or the feelings that it entails to make the correction to cease, now I gotta do that. And so you're left feeling like you abandoned the person because you're the one that had to make the decision. Isn't that crazy? I hope that makes sense, because I did kind of squirrel a little bit. We are making some good progress. I'm gonna cut my light off so you guys can see it. You can see it better when the light pad is not on. So we're making some really good progress up in here. And I am going to take a break because I've been sitting here for close to an hour now. And I like to get up and stretch, walk around and whatnot. You guys, if you have any experience like with having to cut people off or adjust your crowd, put it down in the comments. I mean, this is a safe place. I'm building this channel for support purposes. I don't know, it's kind of morphing into whatever it's going to morph into, but God is good, and I tend to just go with the flow of things. So if you have something to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. Let's all be respectful here, because this is one of my safe places. And I want it to be a safe place for you as well. So if you see something, say something. If I don't catch it, I'm just going to put that out there early in the beginning of this channel. I've had a channel before and it grew. I'm not looking for anything. I'm not trying to be like, you know, a YouTube star or anything, but I just want to have a place where my family can come and interact with me in my own element, because I do have such a hard time socially with my anxiety, and this is just how I do it, y'all. Like I'm following the same steps in the same path that I did when I was up in Jersey. I found a craft that I love and I want to share it with you. So that's going to be it for now. I've rolled this little bad boy up from the bottom and I put my clips on there, so it should hold itself up until I come back to it. Don't forget to like the video. If anything resonated for you, please interact in the comments and share this video if you believe that it'll be useful to someone else. Thank you so much for joining me today. You enjoy the rest of your week coming up, and I will see you next time. Take care.